All right, so go ahead and do the warm-up. This is going to be on area and perimeter, but go ahead and do the warm-up. It should be review, and we're gonna practice naming parts of a problem. So here you go. All right, so you should have done it already. And give another name for line S. There are a couple of names we could use, but let's just use MP because that's easy. Pick 2 points on line S, and that'll give it to me. So we could use NP, we could use MN, we could use PN. There's so many different options we could use. All right, what point is collinear with MP? Okay, see what point is on the same line as MP? Oh, look, N. We're done. All right, so convex versus concave. So they sound, the difference of these is they sound, the way they sound is what they are. So convex is something that is, the shape is pointed out, versus concave, the shape caves in. So looking at this first one, see how we have lines that kind of cave in, okay? Since they're caving in, it's concave. And then an example of, so again, this one's caving in, so this is concave. Here, we don't have anything caving in, so it's convex. Convex. So go ahead and pause it and do the rest of the three. All right, if you wanted to label these like A, B, C, or D and put the letters, it's fine too. This one's concave, concave, convex. All right, so hopefully you got 100% on that little quiz. Not quiz, but you know what I mean. All right, so area and perimeter. Perimeter and area are just, there's a bunch of formulas. So perimeter is just all your sides added together. So the distance of all of it's the distance around an object or a shape. Area is what is inside that shape, so the amount of area that's inside. And this is helpful for like if you're trying to figure out the dimensions for a carpet that you need or something like that. Perimeter is good for distance around a building and figuring out how much material you need, things like that. So perimeter area used all the time. Perimeter for a square is pretty easy because all the sides are the same. So we can just, as long as you know one side, we can just multiply it by 4 and that'll give me the perimeter. Sorry, it's really hard to see. Same thing, squares easy because we know all the sides are the same, so just squaring it will give you the area. Rectangle, 2 of the sides are the same, or the opposite sides are the same, so you can multiply the length, double the width, added together, that's the perimeter, and then length times width gives you the area for a rectangle. And I don't think I talked about the area of a triangle, but 1/2 base times height is a triangle. So you should know all of these pretty well. If you don't, go ahead and put them in memory because you're gonna be using them a lot. All right, but let's look at this first one. This first one is a shape, or not shape, it's a shape. It's a square. So we know all the sides are the same. So the perimeter is just 4 times 5. So, because there's 4 sides. So 4 times 5 is 20. And then the area is just that side squared, so 5 squared, which is 25. And it shouldn't be squared. This one should be squared. Sorry. Perimeter, your units are not squared. All right, this next one is a rectangle. So I can do 3 plus 3, which is 6. 6 plus 10 plus 10, which is 20. So 26 is my perimeter. And then my area should be 3 times 10, length times width, which is 30 feet squared. All right, I'm running out of room. I'm gonna write it down here. All right, so a triangle, the perimeter is just adding all the sides together. So 3 plus 4 plus 5, which is 9 plus 10, 11, 12. So 12. Yeah. Meters, and then the area is 1/2 your base, which is 4, times your height, which is 3. So that's 12 divided by 2 is 6. All right, over here, it's broken up a little bit, and it's trying to trip you up a little as well. Okay, so just so you know, this part right here is not the height. Okay, the height is how tall it is. So the 12 represents our height. So when we're doing area, that's the one we're going to use. Our base here is 10. So 10, and then you see these little markings right here. These markings mean that they're even. So if this is 13, this is also got to be 13. So to find my perimeter, I do 13 plus 5 plus 5 plus 13, or 10, right? 13 plus 10 plus 13, which is 36 yards. And then my area would be my base, which is 10. 1/2, since it's a triangle. My base, which is 10, times my height, which is 12. Okay, so that should be 60 yards squared. All right. Hopefully I didn't go too fast. If not, just pause it and rewind it. Keep watching it until you get it. All right, so here's where it gets a little tricky. All right, so we're gonna find the perimeter and area of coordinates. So I'm gonna first label these points. So -2, 3, 3, -3, and -2, -3. All right. So our heights and widths should be pretty easy. We can just count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. We could also do, right, if this was, let me go ahead and label these points again. I should have labeled them as I went. Okay. We can also take the difference of the x's here to find this horizontal line. So 3 minus -2, which is 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should have been -3, or 3 minus -3, which is 6. So that was pretty easy to find our base and our height. But to find our length here, we have to use our Pythagorean theorem. So, or our distance formula, whichever one you want to use. I'm just going to use Pythagorean theorem because we already know what A and B, this is A, this is B. So 5 squared plus 6 squared is equal to C squared. 25 plus 36 is equal to C squared. 25 plus 36 is 61. The square root of 61 is around 7.82. No, 7.81. All right, so we know this is 7.81. So our perimeter would just be all of these added together. 5 plus 6 plus 7.81. And so 11 plus 7.81 is 18.81. Okay, so that's my perimeter. And the area is just 1/2 your base, which is 5, times my height, which is 6. So that is 15. All right, so that's how you're gonna have to do each one of these problems. So you can go ahead and pause it and try these next two on your own. All right, here we go. So same thing, I'm gonna label it 1, 3. For -3. And then -4, -3. And then we will connect them. Okay. All right, and go ahead and draw your height here, okay? And you can kind of count and see what the height is. So my height here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can go ahead and mark that as 6. And then my base here, the whole base is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and mark that whole thing as 8. Okay. Okay, and we can go ahead and find our area because our area is real quick. So area is 1/2 my base, which is 8, times my height, which is 6, we already said. So that's 24. Now the perimeter is where it gets tricky. Okay, and so here we're gonna have to break it up. So this is 1, 2, 3, and then this is obviously 5. And we're going to have to find, using our Pythagorean theorem, find the distance here and here, okay? So when we do that, to find this distance here, let's just go ahead and set it up. Or let's find this distance first, and we're gonna write it over here. So we do 3 squared plus 6 squared is equal to c squared. 9 plus 36 is equal to c squared. 9 plus 36, and then take the square root of 45, or is 45, and then we're gonna take the square root. Make sure you do not forget to take the square root, because that's not gonna be good. All right, so that's the distance. We have 6.71 here. All right, same thing on this side. I'm just gonna kind of write it inside the graph if that's okay. That should be an arrow. Did not look like an arrow, but whatever. So our A and our B right here, so 5 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. 25 plus 36 equals c squared. 25 plus 36, oops, is equal to 61. That looks familiar. We did that in the last problem. And then we take the square root. Square root of 61. We should have that from the last problem, is 7.81. 81 equals c. Okay, so we now have our distances around, so 7.81 plus 8, right, is this whole distance, plus 6.71. And we're just gonna add them all together. So that is 22.52. All right, this next one, we're going to, again, plot the points, -1, 1, 2, 1, then we have -1, -2. All right, and I forgot one. Oh, 2, -2. All right, and this looks like a certain shape that we've seen before. So if I count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you can see that it's a square. Okay, so the area is just base times height, so 3 times 3, which is 9. And then my perimeter is 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, or 4 times 3, which is 12. There you go. All right, then over here, the perimeter of a rectangle is 16 units. The width is 3 units. Find the length. So we're gonna take, we know the perimeter of a rectangle is our formula is 2 times our width plus 2 times our length equals our perimeter. So we're just gonna plug in what we do know. So we know the width is 3 units. So I'm gonna plug it into my formula. We're gonna leave that the same, and then we're given that the perimeter is 16. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 2L is equal to 16, subtract 6 on either side. 2L is equal to 10, L is equal to 5. And we're done. See why knowing those formulas is so important? All right, and then the area of a triangle is 4, so we know we're gonna be using this formula, 1/2 my base times my height. So we know the area is 4. We know, it says find the height if the base is 24 inches. Okay, notice it says inches, so we actually have to, before we do anything, I'm just gonna leave parentheses here. We have to convert 24 inches to feet. Okay, so we know there's 12 inches in a foot. So if I divide this 24 by 2, or by 12, sorry, then it'll give me how many feet that is. So it's 2 feet. So 24 divided by 12 will give me how many feet it is. So 2, 1/2 times 2 is just 1, so 4 feet is my height. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and thank you for watching. All right, bye.